I used to let cream off strawberries in the summer. Maybe your dad. I'm just kidding, I'm only saying that for a fact. But my point is I think people could change. I used to jump on trampolines with no underwear on, and now I basically just wear trousers. You get me, no you don't get me, no you don't get me, no you don't. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, I promise. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, wait. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, I promise. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, wait. I used to say scream if you wanna go faster, but then I sold my Porsche. My friend Rostam told me I dress like a, so now I shop at APC. I don't know why you don't believe me, I don't know why you don't think I could be an angel girl. No you don't get me, no you don't get me, no you don't get me, no you don't. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, I promise. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, wait. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, I promise. It's the truth and I gotta be honest, I'm not a bad girl anymore, wait. Yeah, people can change. Yeah, people can change. I don't wanna go home, I'm more confident than ever, since everyone knows my name.
Charli XCX is in Maida Vale for a very special session, and we're joined by Charli now. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Great, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to chat with you.
Yeah, you too.
I found it really interesting. I know you're speaking to or co-hosting with Nick recently on Six, and you mentioned that in some rare downtime you were reading Lena Dunham's book, and obviously your stories are very different, but I wonder if you felt the same pressure that she felt in a way of being like the voice of a generation, and if you felt like you intentionally sort of needed to subvert something with the follow-up album to Brat, or if it was just you were just completely following your instincts.
I mean, I think my pattern as an artist has always been that I kind of make these extreme pivots. I think just when it comes to Brat, more people were engaged with that album than any of my previous records. And so it's just, I guess, on a sort of larger stage, I suppose. But I'm not really kind of like changing my pattern as an artist, really. I've always sort of been this way. So I don't really feel that I ever have to intentionally do anything. I'm really just following my gut instinct with any of the work that I create. That's always my main sort of MO,
Yeah. Is it more that you just kind of have to talk about this more because it is the follow-up to something that people responded to in such a massive way?
Like, I've always spoken about my work. I think just more people are listening now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I've never been afraid to discuss my work and where I'm going next and why I'm going there. That's always been part of who I am as an artist. I've always been really interested in kind of picking apart the reasons why and how much of it is intuitive versus something I'm responding to. I'm very interested in that. But yeah, like I said, I think just more people are listening than before.
Yeah, and you said something really interesting last year, which I think turned a few heads by saying that you don't feel like you can, do the same thing twice, and that you think the next record will be a flop. Do you still feel that way?
I mean, I think, people who discovered me through my last record might be expecting more of the same. And this record is different. I can't really say who will like what. All I know is that I love this album, and I am really excited about the kind of ground that I'm exploring on it and the songs that I've written. And it feels very personal and exciting to me, and that's really the main reason to do anything, I think, isn't it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I know you talk about this new album, and I guess your music in general is being genre ambiguous. Like, how do you reconcile that with the idea of putting out a record called rock music? Is that kind of like an ironic thing? And also, how do you go about describing your music and describing this record when you're kind of moving away from this idea of genre, or you don't find the idea of genre very helpful?
I think like being super sort of rigid within genre, it's quite like an old school thing, I think with the internet now there's just such a wealth of stuff out there, and I think so many of my artist friends are so inspired by like such a wide variety of different music, different films, different things, and they all kind of come together in this one pot and get kind of regurgitated out and create something like very unique, but also spans like a multitude of genres, and it kind of like makes these sort of like micro genres and things like that. And I think that's what's so great about music right now. It's like you don't really have to be put in a box. It's actually a bit boring and a bit of a sort of I don't know, it feels like quite a dated concept to me, especially when there are so many artists who are treading such like interesting ground and really kind of doing quite new things. So that's just, I've always felt that way, but I'm not really a purist, so
Yeah.
And the new record, Music Fashion Film, it sees you again returning to work with long-time collaborators A.G. Cook and Flynn Keen. What is it about their production work that you return to?
I can sort of come to the table with thoughts and think about the way I want to navigate my creative process, and I feel that it's been really awesome that I have these two collaborators who have been so open and supportive and really sort of down to kind of like go the distance with me, no matter what we're doing. And I think that's why we've worked together for so long. I mean, Alex and I, AG and I, have sort of worked together since, I think, like 2015 now, around the same time I began working with Sophie. And so we just have such a language developed together, and yeah, it's really cool and inspiring, and we can really kind of like explore these things with each other in a way that feels very rewarding to us, you know. And I think that we have a lot of the same kind of approaches to creative process, to music, to making things in general, and to what we sort of gravitate towards and find exciting. And in a way, that's actually kind of what the whole album is about. It's sort of about this like joy of the creative process, and in particular the joy that I feel extremely lucky to get to feel when I make things with my friends, which for the most part is them.
You must be getting approached by a lot of people who are very keen to work with you. Have you got a sort of, are you open to that, or are you, you know, would you rather keep a sort of tight inner circle?
Do you mean in terms of less like artists collaborating and more sort of on actually making records and production?
Well, I guess I was thinking of artists, but I mean, there must be people across the whole spectrum who are keen to work with you.
I actually don't know the total number, but I have done so many collaborations throughout my career, like I've kind of like a ridiculous number. And some of those people I go back to a lot, like Troye Sivan is somebody who, you know, we've worked together a lot. I'm definitely always up for collaborating with people as long as like the alchemy is right. That's something that's always very inspiring to me, because I think when I was younger, the main thing I wanted, and actually one of the main reasons I even kind of got into music, I suppose, was that I wanted to find like friends. You know, I wanted to find like this group of people who kind of thought in the same way as I did. And so that was a big driver in even kind of attempting to make music, you know, to find like my people, I suppose. So yeah, I'm always open to it. I think, especially when it comes to artists collaborating, I think when it comes to production stuff, I'm a bit more specific with that. And I have to, there has to be a real level of like freedom there. And sort of, I hate this idea of like, oh, there's like right ways of doing things and wrong ways of doing things. Like that to me is like very restrictive. So the second it gets into that territory, I'm kind of like out the door. You know, I like it to be very, very free, and almost sort of embracing all the possible like stupid mistakes and mistakes in general that can be made, because I think that's where you find the most interesting thing.
I'd love to know the live setup with this latest record, obviously with it being, you know, more guitar drum focused in what we've already heard. Is that like an element you think you'd be taking on stage? You know, we saw you at Glastonbury, which is incredible. You know, just yourself on stage, the same at Primavera with Troy, that was unreal. Can you tell us of any ideas of how this album is going to be performed on the stage?
I'm kind of piecing that together right now, and I think I think there's going to be like different sort of elements within the live show, and one element of that will be like a live instrumentation kind of moment, but then there'll also be other things and not that, and I think it's sort of a kind of swaying between both, you know.
Lovely to chat to you, Charli. Thank you so much for making the time.
You too, thank you.
For this session as well.